Welcome back to Life of Birch, and welcome to part 1 of the Wrecked Rebel rebuild series. I'm Birch, and for some reason I decided that a Rebel 300 and 1100 weren't enough, and that I needed to buy a Wrecked Rebel 500 off Facebook Marketplace to restore it to its former glory and then give away to one of you guys. We just got the bike home last night, and today we're tearing into it to see if we actually got a good deal or if we're in over our heads. Okay, that's not a good sign, because...
Perfect.
Alright, so last week I made a video going to check out this Wrecked Rebel 500 and kind of going over it a little bit and asking you guys for advice on what a good price would be or if I should even buy it. Surprise, obviously I did buy it, but if you haven't seen that video yet, go ahead and go back and watch it and then come back and watch this afterwards so that there's no spoilers. Alright, so today we're going to go over the bike a little bit more in depth to see if I actually found all the damage before and kind of do a tally to see how much it should cost to fix. And I'm finally going to tell you guys what I actually paid for it so you guys can tell me if I got a good deal or if I got ripped off. And I'm going to tell you guys how you guys can have a say on what modifications we do to it and how you can win it. So as you guys remember, the biggest thing is this tank. It is just absolutely smashed in from the controls hitting it, so we'll have to replace the tank. And then today we're going to try and straighten out the bars because you can get a really good look at it here. The forks are nice and straight from what I can tell, but the bars are super crooked. We should hopefully just have to loosen the bolt down here. It has rubber bushings like I said before, so the rubber bushings just kind of get out of place. We're going to loosen the bolts down there and hope that we can move them back into line and hope that's all we need to do. And then back on this side, you can see down here is kind of the problem child as well. All of this is bent up and scratched and everything like that. It's looking like we should be able to get away with just a brake pedal here. Actually, I might want to grab a new spring too. It looks like that might be binding up. But if we come under here, you can see, you know, it has that scratch there, but I'll probably just put touch-up paint because, you know, who's ever going to see that and what's the point in swapping all that out and having to take like the master cylinder off and all that. No normal person is ever going to notice that. I'll just put some touch-up paint on it so it doesn't rust. The master cylinder doesn't look like it's messed up at all, so that's good news. And then this foot peg right here is obviously bent up and everything. It looks like that spring is bound up also, but it looks like the stuff that holds it in is totally fine. So we should be able to get away with just the foot peg and a spring. And I'm not even gonna get like a new rubber part or like the internals or anything like that, because if you guys remember on my Rebel 500 that I had before, I actually just took these rubber parts out and made it look like a, oh, actually I have the real ones over here now so I can show you. When you take the rubber inserts out, it just kind of looks like this style, like the MX style, but for free, because you just take the rubber thing out and it looks like that. So I think we're just going to order that. We're not going to have to worry about the rubber part or anything like that and give it like the cool MX style. So I'm stoked on that. And then like I showed before, you can see that the muffler's all scratched up and it's bent in there. I'm still trying to decide what we're going to do with that, whether we want to go the cheap route and do the shorty GP like I did on my last Rebel 500, or if we want to shell out the extra money and go the good route and get the Two Brothers Racing exhaust like I have on the 1100. But maybe that will be one of the things that you guys vote on. Stick around to the end so I can tell you how you vote. And then up here kind of took the brunt of the rest of the damage. You can see that the brake lever's all scratched up and it's bent in. Normally it kind of comes out that way a little bit and it's just totally folded in. And then you can see obviously the mirror's all nice and scratched up there. Unfortunately, when I brought the bike home yesterday, it was raining, as you can tell by the water underneath all the other bikes. So it did get some surface rust on there, but I do have a cover to throw on this bad boy, so won't have to worry about that in the future. But for the mirror, we'll have to vote on whether or not we're just going to put a new stock mirror on there, or if we want to take both of the stock mirrors off and do bar ends, or if we want to flip the mirrors underneath the bars or what. And then you can see that the throttle cables here are all nice and scratched up, so I don't know. At first I was thinking about just like wrapping them because it feels like so much work to replace the entire throttle cables. So I was thinking about just like wrapping them in some sort of tape or something, but looking at how scratched up they are, I'm kind of assuming that we're just going to swap those out. And then right here you can see that obviously the scratch from the lever carries on to the master cylinder, and for that, honestly, I think it's just going to get the same treatment as the step thing and just get some flat black touch-up paint. As much as I'd love to swap it out and make it all nice and purty and brand new, I don't know. I feel like I looked up the master cylinder and it's like, I think it was 80 bucks. I might be wrong, but I think like 80 bucks plus the process of taking it all out, swapping it, having to bleed the brakes, all that kind of nonsense just for something that's like barely cosmetic. I just don't think it's worth it. So we'll probably hit that with some touch-up paint and be done with it. And then you can see here, the end of the grip is scratched up. Honestly, if I were going to keep the bike for myself, I'd probably just leave that and not care about it. But because I'm planning on doing some sort of a raffle or a giveaway for you guys, I could get Vans grips for like 20 bucks and that's easy enough. So we'll probably swap that out. And then what else? There's like a real baby scuff right here on the headlight cowl. We'll probably just leave that because I didn't even notice that until like the end of my test ride. So it's really not that noticeable, especially from far away. So obviously certain things like the tank and like the foot pegs and everything like that have to get replaced. But things like the master cylinder and like the actual step thing down there that's just scratched and the cowl, let me know if you think we should actually replace those or just kind of leave it as is, touch up paint, whatever. All right, so that's all the damage that we noticed on the test ride, and I think I tallied it up around $800. I think I gave us like a $50 window just to be safe. Now it's time to dig into the bike a little bit deeper and see if we missed anything, which I really hope we didn't. Fingers crossed. So let's start up here where lots of the damage happened, just to see if we overlooked anything that I didn't already point out. See if there's any like scuffs on the frame, which I'm not seeing. Obviously it's pretty dirty, but it just needs a good cleaning and we're fine there. Let's look under here at the master cylinder and everything and make sure that we didn't miss anything. No, I mean, everything looks like it's in place. Nothing's bent up, so I don't think we have any added dollars there. Look up here and it doesn't look like the bars themselves are bent. It looks like it's just those bushings like I was saying. Whoa, holy crap. This bike is so new that it still has, is this a protective thing from shipping? Ow, maybe this is why nobody took it off, because nobody has fingers that are baby enough. Oh yeah, there we go, look at that. It's literally, dude, this thing is so new, it still has the protective stuff from shipping on it. While we're over here, let's check out this side as well. I'm not seeing any scratches or anything messed up over here that I didn't notice, so that's a good sign. Oh yeah, I am remembering that this is a little bit loose, so we're going to tighten that up today. I don't think it should have that much play. I think it calls for like an 1/8 inch of play, and that's definitely more than that, so we'll tighten that up today while we can. Forks are looking straight, and I'm not seeing any scratches or anything that I didn't notice before, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks like I found everything the first go round. It's definitely dirty, but I'm not seeing any other damage that we missed. Oh yeah, and this is a small thing, but I don't plan on using this phone holder, so we'll see if it's like scratched or scuffed underneath it at all. Dude, this thing unscrews forever. Are you kidding me? All right, insert SpongeBob noise here. 2 hours later. And it is off, I think. Yeah, there we go. No scuffs under there, so that's good. All right, sick. Looks like we should be good to go. All right, so far it seems like all the damage that we found on the test ride is indeed all the damage that it has, so that's a very good sign. Now let's start working on this thing for the first time and try and get those bars straightened out and hope that it's just those bushings. All right, say a little prayer that it's just the bushings. 14mm on both sides, and we'll see. All right, one of these little jounts. Yeah, that'll do the trick. Bit of a tight space in there, innit? Go ahead and loosen up this side a little bit more now that we have the right tool. Yeah, you can see how loose those bars are now. That's exactly what we want. Now, with those bushings nice and loose, you can see how wobbly they are. You want to get the bars as close to straight as possible before tightening them back down. And I actually feel like it'd be easier to line everything up if you did it just like in the good old days when your BMX bars got crooked, and straighten them out from this angle. I think that's right. Let's look at it from this side again. So insert the SpongeBob noise again. 2 hours later. I think my OCD is happy with how straight they are. So let's tighten them back down. I don't know who told me it was a good idea to start my first rebuild series when it's like 90 something degrees every day, but I've literally just looked at the bike and loosened 2 bolts and now tightened 1, and I'm already sweating my freaking balls off. Bars are tightened down, they're nice and straight, way better than they were before, and I'm starting to hear wind blowing and seeing clouds coming in, so I think we're racing against a potential thunderstorm. So we should probably get a move on. All right, so now let's check if the bars turn all the way while they hit the tank. No, not even close. That's at full lock, so you can see we straightened them out a crap ton. I will say though, one thing that I noticed, it almost feels like all of these controls are rotated back towards me, and fortunately we have Nina's Rebel 300, so we can do an exact comparison to see if these rotated back and if I need to put them back in place. All right, yeah, as soon as I sat on this, I can already tell that all of these controls are definitely rotated, and honestly, I think those bars might actually be bent. As much as I didn't want them to be, I think they might be, so that sucks. Oh, you know what I just noticed too? Something I didn't know about the SE model? The caps are black also. They're chrome here, but then they're black on the top of the forks over there. I didn't know that. If there's anything that I've learned just in the hour that I've been doing this rebuild series so far, it's that a cameraman would be great because it's impossible to keep setting up and taking down tripods while trying to do this. So hopefully this angle is good enough. To find out if the bars are actually crooked, we're gonna use this arrow in the middle of the tank as kind of the middle point of the bike. And we're gonna measure from that point to the end of each of the bars and see if they're the same or if we got some bendage going on. So the right side is about 14 3/8 inches, and then the left side, that's not a good sign because this is going straight across the same way that that one was, and it's not even touching this, so that's definitely bent in. All right, let's stretch it out and do it straight across like that. Yeah, no, the bars are definitely bent. That sucks. And that, my friends, is why we build buffers into our budgets, because it feels like all of that was pointless now. There's literally no point in having straightened out the bushings and the bars just to find out that they were bent. Well, I guess, nah, there was a point to it because we wouldn't have known they were bent unless we straightened them out in the first place. Does that make sense? Anyway, now we know we got to get bars, so maybe we'll vote on that also as to whether we just replace it with stock bars or get some like taller T-bars. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But what I want to do now is go ahead and just tighten down the clutch lever that I was talking about, get that into spec. That way I feel like I actually did something productive today before it starts raining, because I don't know if you can see, it's about to open up. And yeah, so we'll do that, and then we'll head inside and check out a list of everything that we need so far, tally up a price, and I'll tell you guys how you can win it eventually when it's done. Who knows when. All right, so this is the first thing I could find to loosen these bad boys. Turn it to the left. Yo, what in the hell is that crazy ass animal? Okay, I'm gonna pick it up with this. Look how crazy this spider is. Are you kidding me? All right, you're going in the grass. Anyway, we're gonna back that out until it has about 1/8 inch of play, and then we'll tighten that down to keep it in place. Nice and tight, and that should be good. Welcome to the editing studio. This is where the magic happens. Was that cheesy enough? All right, so I'm at my computer and I have a list pulled up and all the parts added to my cart of everything that we're gonna need that we just found. And I'll start off by saying I'm pleasantly surprised. The handlebars, I was bummed when I found out that they were bent because I'm like, I don't wanna have to pay for that. The stock handlebars are actually only $32.26, so that's not that bad. We already built in like a $50 buffer. In my cart so far, I have the handlebars, I have the brake pedal and the foot peg and a spring for both of those. And then both throttle cables and 4 new rubber bushings for the handlebars. Even though we just bent the bars back, I didn't really pay attention to whether the bushings were good or not. I mean, they look good, but I figure if we're doing the bars anyway, we might as well put some new bushings in there, because those are a whopping $624 total for all 4 bushings. So for all of that stuff, which should be all that we need aside from the exhaust and the tank, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, and the brake lever and I guess clutch lever if we're getting matching ones, obviously. Anyway, the total so far, including shipping, which is free, is $106.24. So actually not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And I definitely decided that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to replace the bracket that holds the foot peg on or the front master cylinder. Those are the ones that just had little scuffs, and I was like, I don't know, should we replace them, blah, blah, blah. Because between those two things, it adds like an additional, I think it was like 130 something or 140 something dollars. So we're just gonna put some touch-up paint on that and nobody's gonna notice because it's not worth the added effort, the added time, and the added $100 and something just to do that. So 106 isn't bad, and I really want to place the order now because it's saying that everything is back ordered and I'll get everything at the earliest like 2 weeks from now, which sucks. It sounds like this process is going to take longer than I thought, but I can't quite order everything yet because like I said, there are decisions that have to be made by you guys. And the first decision that you guys have to make is what color we're going to make this bike. I'm leaving that up to you guys. I have a few different color options I'm going to let you guys vote between, but in order to vote, you have to be a Patreon member. So I'm not entirely sure yet if the giveaway is going to be only to a Patreon member or if I'm going to do like a raffle type scenario, but either way, all of the decisions, all of the voting, everything like that will take place over on the Patreon page. Doesn't matter if you're a $3 member, $5, $11, $25, $50, $100, whatever. As long as you're on Patreon, you can vote. So I figured that'd be a really cool way to let you guys kind of have a say in which direction the build goes. I'm thinking you'll vote on the color of the tank, probably which mirrors we get, which levers, like brake and clutch levers we get, and maybe some other surprises. So hop over to the Patreon now, because before I can order this, I gotta add the fuel tank to my shopping cart, and in order to do that, I need you guys to vote on what color. Patreon.com/LifeOfBurch. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important part. Whether I do like a Patreon specific giveaway or if I do like an actual raffle, you wanna be on Patreon, because if I do a raffle, I already decided that I'm gonna pick 3 Patreon members at random to get free entries into the raffle. And if I do the raffle, it's gonna be $100 an entry. So if you join the Patreon, you have a chance at a free $100 $100 entry, regardless of whether you're $3, $5, $11, etc., Patreon member. As long as you're on there and you help vote for the outcome of the bike, you have the chance to be picked at random for a free entry to the raffle. And now for the exciting part that you guys have all been waiting for. How much did I actually pay for the wrecked Rebel 500 SE? On the last video, I had you guys kind of leave some comments with guesses, and they were all over the place. I had people saying I wouldn't pay over $2,500 for that. I had people saying, oh, I would pay $5,500 for that. It was all over the place. So how much did I actually spend? I got it for $3,000. Let me know in the comments though if you think I got a good deal or if I got ripped off. Let me know if you saw any other like hidden surprises that I didn't notice, like any damage that I overlooked when I was checking out the bike. And of course, hop over to the Patreon so you can have your say in the outcome of the bike. I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know if you can tell, I've been tired this entire time. My brain is fried. I'm gonna go take a nap. Love you guys. Peace.
Oh, so basic. Hope you play this. Damn, I prayed it. Nice song, and I became this. Old souls fake it. Paid those placements. Fuck shit. And I'm still waiting on the brighter days. Been a minute, been rough many times more. And I'm kicking rocks to a sky of gray. Praying hard, talk to me before I'm done for.